الله رحيم الله مالك الله قدس الله.
Yo, Egyptian Christian, is this Adam Coptic? Yeah, block it out. Talk to Adam Coptic. He's a better conversation to have, bro. Ask the same question to the guy above you, bro.
Coptic, I know Coptic. Actually, me and Coptic go way back. Not way back, but
Yeah,
me and him used to discuss. We and him used to discuss relative identity. Wait, Coptic, do you want to discuss relative identity Trinitarianism?
we can if you want to. Like,
Okay, sure.
came up for the title.
Yeah,
of the
before that,
Oh.
Egyptian Coptic, do you believe that it's possible for me to be God?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, look, okay, so because we're not going to be dishonest and nitpick, just he already affirmed it. Look, so do you want to discuss relative identity Trinitarianism?
Yeah, whatever. If you want to discuss the Trinity or this topic, whatever. Like,
Okay, sure. So relative identity Trinitarianism. So a sortal is going to be a class of predicates. Under relative identity, X is identical to Y if and only if it satisfies this class of predicates. Hence, there's an equivalency to a sortal relation therein. But this is not going to give a constitutive account because, for instance, many objects, not many objects, but many terms could satisfy a sortal, but this is not going to give a constitutive account like numeric identity gives a constitutive account of referential sameness does. So what is the constitutive account under relative identity devoid of material constitution, given that you don't believe God is materially constituted?
oh, so you're saying like what acts like a material, like as matter, right? Like
I'm saying, what is the account of sameness? For instance, Coptic, would you say if I bring up a sortal and I say Egyptian Coptic and Vienna, they're the same object because they satisfy a certain class of predicates? You would say, no, that's gibberish, you know? Now,
So, like with the hylomorphic account, right? We say like it's the same object. The sortal would be the matter, right? The self same token matter that constitutes the hylomorphs. So if you have like a piece of clay, you form it into a clay statue, right? The piece of clay would be the sortal, right?
Yeah, I know that's material constitution. For instance,
yeah. So for the Trinity, it would be like we would say like the divine essence plays the role of matter, right? It would be like the clay and the clay statue.
divine essence isn't made out of material.
Yeah, I mean, this is where it gets like very like. This is why like I'm sure you've heard me and Venus talk about this, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I would say even with immaterial objects, right? You can have like immaterial?
No, you
objects
can't,
be like,
because if that was the case, immaterial objects. I mean, if that was the case, again, you didn't really give me a symmetry breaker between everybody in the panel being the same account of object to sortal relation under this, what is it called? This account of relative identity. By the way, Coptic, I want to address somebody in the comment. Lorenzo, you clown. Lorenzo, who are you to educate me? Or challenge to educate me. You clown and know your place. Anyways, Coptic, go on.
by the way, Vienna, yeah, I mean, no, there is going to be a symmetry breaker because you and I, we're made out of different human stuff, right? It's not the self-same token matter that we're made out of, right? It would be like the same qualitative matter, but not the same quantitative matter. But in hylomorphism, we say it's the self matter that these different hylomorphs are constituted.
But a token, 1 minute, hold on. So for instance, you have this type under these tokens. Again, you're not giving me an account of, for instance, if you appeal to the essence being a sortal, for instance, what is an essence? Essence just means set of essential properties. If you say there are 3 set of essential properties instantiated by 3 tokens, that's not going to give me an account of sameness, you know? That's the issue
I
we're
agree,
intriguing
but that's
here.
not. Yeah, I agree.
But that is the issue.
Like
There's no account of sameness.
No. So if you have like, I mean, with the 3 sets of properties, that's 3 sortals, right?
No, 3 essential. What is called set of essential properties P, and 3 satisfy this. But that's not an account of. That's not a constitutive account. That's not an account of sameness. And if you agree, then there is no virtue by saying there is one God, there is one mind. By what virtue is that one mind, for instance?
Yeah. So I mean, with the hylomorphic analogy, you said, yeah, that works, but the problem is that God is not material, right?
Yeah, exactly. So for instance,
so,
I could pick out like the lump of clay to be in a constitutive account of some, like, what is it called? it could be even like a soft mereological explanation. But
Like a clay statue, right?
yeah, exactly. Like what is it called? Like for instance, like a naturalistic explanation of matter. For example, the soft mereological explanations. For instance, the lump of clay attached to this and attached. But you don't want to say these persons are materially constituted and like there's this matter in relation to like.
Yeah, like they like Michael Ray, for example, who's like the big proponent of this. He would say like he actually also draws upon the scholastics, which they would say like the even spiritual objects are functionally material but not ontologically material, right? They function like material objects, but they're not ontologically material, right? Because they want to say like
That's a Neo-Aristotelian account.
yeah. So that is a new.
But the Neo-Aristotelian account of spiritual matter only extends to angels, for instance. So even if I had
extended also to God, right? So
no. God is not made out of spiritual matter. God that would only extend to like angels, for instance, and that's because if you look into Thomism and Michael Ray's sympathies towards like Thomistic or scholastic glossary, they would say, "Oh, angels have forms; they're configured, but they're immaterial." Even though I don't agree with this, even though I don't agree with this, it's still there's no account of material constitution, and given this, presumably you believe God is formless, so there's no account of sameness still yet to be made. So we can say prima facie. We can say prima facie is more probable than not. There's no account of sameness, hence it's just disposable.
No. So you got it absolutely correct, right? That with angels would there would be like a quote unquote hylomorph, right? Where you would have the form of the angel being constituted by the angelic stuff, right? Quote unquote, right? And so it would be like functionally material but not ontologically material. And so with that, I think like Michael Ray extends that to the Trinity, right? Where you would say like the divine essence, it's sort of like divine matter.
Yeah, but that's a false analogy.
Why?
Because of the opaqueness. For instance, imagine if I had told you like, it's just a misapplication. For instance, because one has the account of sameness by virtue of material constitution and one does not. So I don't know what it means to, what is it called? Apply this account of sameness of like constitution qua materiality.
I thought you understood. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
1 minute. Account of sameness. What is called qua materiality with respect to one object that can have that account be sufficed with respect to that, and then you apply it onto some other sort of identity relation that doesn't have the constitutive account. So it just circles back of no account of sameness.
Granted that this can work with immaterial spiritual objects like angels, right?
No, I'm saying that is even opaque.
Oh, okay. I thought. Oh, so yeah. If you don't grant that, then yeah, like we'll have to discuss that. But if someone like grants, yeah, like for angels, that can be the.
But the function of angels would still be in a form type sense, and that is.
Yeah. So we would say the three persons are like forms, right, of the one divine matter, right?
But are they forms in the Aristotelian sense?
Yeah.
Do you know what forms in the Aristotelian sense are?
I think like different people give a different count. It's sort of like the configuration or arrangement.
No forms, dude. No, that's blasphemous.
No. Sorry. It's basically like a property or a nature.
No. That's not a form. A form in this instance, what they would say angels are. They're talking about configured bodies.
That's what I said.
So no. 1 moment. So you believe, presumably, do you believe God is a configured body?
I mean, not in the material, like so. It would be.
No, would God be an immaterial configured body?
Yes.
Oh.
So we would say that there are three configurations.
Okay, so 1 moment. So I want to touch on this. Okay,
he's
so
a
this is
karami.
where I guess look. So okay, is the form of Jesus the whole of the body of God?
Well, a form would be relatively identical.
No, but you can still have these. What is it called? You can still have the relations of what is called part and wholes. For instance, you can still make the claim of this aspect of the clay would still be not the whole, because it would be erroneous to say it's the whole, as in it satisfies.
No, but forms are not parts, right? Forms would be, forms would be like the whole arranged in a specific way, right? Configured in a
Yeah, but that's
specific
that's the
way.
thing. That's
So
the
like,
thing. Look. That's the thing. I don't know what it means for the look. So there are two routes to this. If you say there are three persons, and to each their own, they have forms. Then what is it called? That's not giving an account of sameness qua object. Okay, that's like saying there are three angels. There are three angels, and there are three forms of these angels, and they're under this one type. That's not gonna say there's one. What is it called? One angel.
no.
I'm not done. I'm
So I
not done. I'm
think
not done.
there's like
That's not gonna give an account of sameness. But if I had said there's the angel's wings and the angel's head and the angel's this, and there's material constitution or immaterial, like what is called metaphysical composition, like there you can kind of give it a constitutive account. But this would be if and only if metaphysical composition takes place, which means a proper part is prior to the whole. So which one are you going to pick?
miscommunication. Like I think like the way you're thinking about this, like you can have one hylomorph for each matter, right?
No, that's not my point. That's not my point.
Like you can have multiple distinct hylomorphs for one and the same matter.
No. That's not my point. That's not my point. I'm saying, look, they're under. You would say God is under one type. God's hypostases are under one type, right?
What do you mean by type there? Like
Oh my, a sortal, like a genus.
no, but a sortal would be like the token, not the type, right? A
sortal would be a type.
No. I know what you mean by what they would call
A
like
class
a
of
concrete
predicates.
Yeah, it is a class of predicates, but it's also going to be like so when it comes to like the lump of clay, right? I mean, you would have a class of predicates, but it's also going to be like a token thing, right? That's constituting these the statue,
One minute, that's
clay
gonna
statue.
be that's a type token distinction. They're gonna be under that one type. When I say under, that means a token relation to a type. So they're gonna be under that
Sure,
one.
okay, so
that's gonna be a token under that one type.
Yeah, so that's
I'll tell you. Look. The point I'm trying to draw. What's the symmetry breaker if I had said, what is it called? What's the symmetry breaker if I had said there are three angels under that one type angelness, but there are
so
three
then there wouldn't
tokens.
be. So that
one.
would work.
I'm not done.
Yeah.
1 minute. It would be erroneous to have said every single angel under the type angel would be the same object because they're the same token type relation, and then you could put a sortal where they're relatively identical. Does that mean they're the same object? No, that doesn't give a
Under that view, they would be, right? Like,
yeah, but that's the point. It's costly and counterintuitive. It goes in contrast. Presumably, you as a theist, you believe in a restrictivist composition ontology,
No,
which basically.
I mean,
Well, one minute.
that's gonna be a problem
Hold on.
with the
I want to make this point. You as a theist, you believe in a restrictivist composite ontology, what basically means, like, obviously you don't want to say that devil and Jesus are one and the same beyond some intentional lens. There is a true sense of distinct objects that is, what is it called? That is beyond an intentional context. Unrestrictivists about composition are mostly atheists and naturalists. So that is avoided. So when somebody says, what is it called? These angels are all the same object. It could be billions of angels, but just because they satisfy the class of predicates, the sortal, does that, and they're under that one type and their tokens in relation to that one type. And if we conclude that the same object, that's just counterintuitive and gibberish. So that's the account of sameness for the Trinity is still not there, even if the Trinitarian persons are forms and bodies.
yeah. So I mean, I think like there's some misunderstanding, maybe from my part. So with like the angels, I thought what you said is if the angels are constituted by the same token angelic essence, right? Then they would be counted as one.
I'm talking about universal essence.
No, but so I'm not talking. So I like would that universal essence be like an abstract thing?
It doesn't matter if there's commitment or not. It just means for any x, if x is under that
By the way,
universal. 1 minute. It just says for any x is under that universal if and only if it satisfies the prerequisite properties of that universal. That's it.
The universal. I mean, the divine essence wouldn't be like a universal in the traditional sense, right? Church fathers condemn that as heretical.
I know that is the point, which makes the relative identity appeal even worse, because if you treat the essence as a sortal, you're going to say it's a set of class of predicates in order to satisfy to be identical to it. Now, I'm asking for an account of sameness because
No, but
because seemingly if they're what is it called? If they're a type if what is called, if it is a type and there's tokens under that type, all that's going to translate to is that, what is it called? There's an instantiative relation between what is called, between an entity in relations to some like commonality or a class of predicates. But that's not giving me an account of sameness, or else you would say billions of angels are the same object.
Yeah, so this is very like, so you would say like, if you have like a piece of clay and you form it into a statue,
I would
say,
give
like,
I would give a physicalist composite account of that. Let alone what is it called? Let alone the other accounts I could give: diachronicity, physicalist account. What is it called? A material constitutive account. I could. It would make it 1 minute. It would make it. It would make it so.
Universal?
It's what is it called? It would make it so the constitutive account is viable. It's not the same constitutive account. What is it called? It's not the same appeal to a constitutive account you're using for the Trinity here, because
why?
because the symmetry
problem I'm
breaker
not
is
really
that there's no
understanding.
material constitution for your account, there's no physical composition for your account, and there's no account of sameness.
But I thought you already granted that you can have immaterial objects that have
No, that is if and only if there is a woman.
that's
That
the
is
case,
if and only if
that
there's
can
a
be applied to-
metaphysical composite relation.
metaphysical composite.
So would you say
that
God
also
is
applies
metaphysically
to the
composed?
Trinity. Metaphysical.
No. It
constituted
has
not
to be
having
parts, because
right?
parts
So
is
it can be
anything that is
forms.
prior to the whole.
No. So the hylomorphs are not parts, right?
No,
There's a
we're not.
difference-
We're not
there's-
talking about the
like, there's a
hylomorphist
difference between
account. We're talking
constitution
about
and
something
composition.
broader. We're talking about the constitutive account. If there's no account of sameness, one moment. If there's no account of sameness, if you just say, oh, they're just forms under that one type, that's just going to translate to all of these billions of angels are the same object. But that would be erroneous to say. So what is the account of sameness qua object? The only thing you would cash out, presumably, that is viable for you is metaphysical composition. And that is if and only if you're gonna apply some sort of partialistic sense onto the Trinity, where you're gonna say, what is called Jesus is a proper part of this object, and what is it called? You can speak of this object as one in relation to its parts because of the satisfiable sortal, but it's just one. What is called given the parthood priority account.
Yeah, so I think I'm applying in hylomorphism. Hylomorphs are not parts.
But
They are forms of the self-token sortal, right? That's constituting them. So in a constitutive there's a difference between a constitutive relation.
I know there's a difference between a constitutive. Look, for instance,
so
a
I'm applying
constitutive
the
relation would be
constitutional, not compositional.
essential properties constituting identity P. But that's not the account here, because again, if I'm saying what that account is erroneous,
so I
because
would be applying-
accounts, look, an appeal to that would not give me a constitutive account, because an appeal to that would just say, what is it called? Oh, there's a set of properties P that is satisfied by billions of angels. That means these angels are the same object. No, that would be erroneous to say. All that means is just these angels are, what is it called, are satisfiable of some sortal. That's not gonna give me an account of what is it called, sameness qua object. I know, but I want an account of sameness
I
qua
think there's-
object.
listen.
For instance, presumably, me and you are two different objects. Jesus and the devil are two different objects. The prophet and Jesus are two different objects. All these people are two different objects. And there's an account of sameness in relation to who they are. God, so that's the same thing I'm applying here.
So I think
I
there's
want
a
an account of sameness qua object. When you say they're the same God,
so
when
I
you
think
say
there's a
that is the
misunderstanding.
same one object, that's the same mind and so on, you need a constitutive account of sameness qua object.
Yeah, so I think there's a misunderstanding, because when we're saying that they're the same object, right? Like the lump of clay and the statue, we're saying that in virtue of them possessing the same token.
And the constitutive.
Right?
And the constitutive.
But with the angel example that you gave, the problem with the angel example where you have billions of angels, they're all having different.
No, they're not.
tokens,
They don't have
angelic
different
stuff that
tokens.
They're made out of, right? There's.
Why?
They would have because
you could one minute, sortal.
So we would say like there would be billions of compounds.
Look,
of
yeah,
angelic
that's
angelic
fine,
stuff, right?
But look, you're not getting it.
But that would
No,
be
no,
the
no, no,
symmetry breaker.
no, 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 no.
That's
Look,
not-
you're not getting it. You're not getting it. You're applying a different sort of identity here. I'm saying this sort of, this set of class of predicates could be so minuscule to the point it's satisfied by billions of entities. Therein, they could be considered the same object, which is
If they're
erroneous.
made out of the same, if they're made out of the same token angelic stuff, then yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that would be erroneous.
But I wouldn't
Exactly.
believe
So-
that. But I don't believe that, right? So I believe
so
that.
one more,
billions of
exactly.
angels-
No, one minute, exactly. So an appeal, much more than just satisfying a sort of.
Well, I'm saying it's logically possible that I don't believe in it, right? So it's logically possible for you to have that scenario where you can have the billions of angels being made out of the same angelic stuff.
It wouldn't be logically possible if you're a restrictivist about composition.
Well, I mean, so
All
I
theists
wouldn't
are
be- I mean,
restrictivists about composition.
but this isn't like a compositional thing, right? It's a I mean, we wouldn't.
No, it is a compositional
comes to
thing. because,
hylomorphs,
for instance, look, would it be fair to say the universe is an object? No, you wouldn't, because you can only speak of it in a fictional sense. But a true sense of an object would be Vienna, Egyptian Coptic. Those are true senses of two different objects. That is what the point is intriguing about. So again, it would be logically contradictory if you're a restrictivist about composition, because you're essentially going to be saying these angels are distinct and not distinct, which is a
No,
contradiction.
because you can still have multiple angelic. I mean, so in that scenario that I gave, where you have billions of angels being constituted of the same angelic stuff, you can have multiple distinct angelic stuffs, right? If you want to use the plural.
But that doesn't negate them being the same object.
So it doesn't. Sorry.
That doesn't negate them being the same object, because under relative identity, all you have to do is two terms are relatively identical if and only if they satisfy.
I'm not
the class
applying
predicate.
that form of relative identity, right? So yeah, you can have different forms of relative identity. The
But
form I'm applying-
exactly. I'm saying the only form of relative identity that is viable for something like that is ontologically committing would be something like a material constitutive account. I'm saying you cannot appeal to that unless if you say, oh, there's this what's called matter compound form of God, where it's not the whole of God, and God, the term God would be equivocated in this sense. So basically, this would be like a worse model of, this would be a worse version of William Lane Craig's appeal to the Trinity, which is what is called partialistic.
Yeah, so I don't really. I mean, so I'm applying it the same. So I thought so with the angels, I thought you would say like, you can apply this material constitutive relation with angelics.
No. I'm saying, given no material constitution, there would be sameness qua object, which would be erroneous to say.
There would be sameness co-object.
Qua object.
Yeah, so I'm not sure I'm really understanding. So like,
Would it be fair to say there are billions of angels just because they satisfy a sortal, no matter what the class
so
of
that
predicates
form of
are?
relative identity I wouldn't apply, right? Because
So again, yeah, exactly. But that's dude, that's
but
the
the form
point.
I'm applying is if you had angels being made out of the same token angelic stuff, not the same qualitative or type angelic stuff, right? Or angelic
Qualitative
predicates.
and type. That's the point. Look, again, the quality when you say like what is it called, the type of let's say whatever type there is, that still can be applied to the angels because they could be under that one, their tokens under that one type. That's the relative identity.
Yeah, but I
appeal.
wouldn't apply them that way, right? So you're
Why
right,
wouldn't
can
you not?
apply- Sorry?
Why would you not?
Oh, because it's counterintuitive, right?
That is the point.
So
You're
it's all
confirming my
based on
point.
intuition.
Exactly. Dude, that is the
No,
point.
but the way I'm applying it appeals to my intuition.
No,
The way
Carl, you're
I'm
not getting it.
applying
You're not getting it. You're not getting it.
intuition.
Look, I'm saying because there's no symmetry breaker, and you even said it's counterintuitive. You cannot say these
That
angels
form of
are.
relative identity would be.
No. Look, I'm saying even under that, they could be under that one token, which has this like whatever sameness of like commonality of like equality. Let's
That would
call
be
it P.
intuitive to me, yeah.
What is it called? And you would say these angels are all the same object now? You would say that is counterintuitive, like you said. Now, that's the same line I'm
not
drawing.
under the
One moment. That's the same line I'm drawing, which is counterintuitive to say, oh, they're the same mind, the same God, and same whatever, without positing an account. Because you're not giving me a constitutive account.
But I think I am, right? Because I'm saying like the divine essence would be the thing that constitutes the persons, right? The token thing, right? That
That could be said about the angels and the token. I mean, the
Sure,
type
you can, yeah. So, but I don't.
But
believe
you said that is
angels are
counterintuitive.
constituted but I don't believe that angels are constituted by a token angelic stuff, right? I believe that angels are just separated, having their own angelic.
Why are they
stuff.
separated?
Oh, that's just my belief.
Yeah, but that's just begging a question. You're not giving me a constitutive account.
Well, because I think that that's what Christianity, like.
But that's begging a question. You could say.
Okay. But even if they're not, let's say that they're not, right? Let's say that they're made out of the same token angelic stuff. Then yeah.
And they're the same object.
Yeah, then they would be counted as one angelic object. Yeah.
No, but there would be object. Now, presumably, let's say we have all these angels in one room. You would look at me like crazy if you said all of these are the same objects. Matter of fact, that's going to be contradictory. Look. Matter of fact, that would be contradictory if you're a restrictivist about composition. Meaning, any sort of realism you give to mereology, meaning something beyond universalism or nihilism, that would be contradictory because the subject angel, what is it called? Michael and the subject angel Gabriel, you're going to say these are two different subjects. They cannot be the same object. Now, that is the same thing I'm striking here. I'm saying the sameness co-object relation can be counterintuitive and even contradictory given restrictivist composition, ontology, and why? So there's no symmetry, prima facie, there's no symmetry breaker between that and the appeal to monotheistic Trinitarianism. So given that, we can just say prima facie that this appeal fails.
Yeah, so I think like there's a misunderstanding. Like I think like you're equivocating between like an abstract universal and the token instantiation of that abstract universal, because what I'm saying
a token would be a commonality in this instance.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is an abstract. You can have like an abstract universal.
Sorry, my bad. A token
can have like an angelic abstract.
I'm saying my bad. Let me correct myself. A token would be a term satisfying the type.
Yeah, so I'm saying like you can have like an angelic abstract universal, and then have like an angelic individual thing that can act as a token for multiple forms of that angelic.
But there's still the same object.
So you can still have multiple different angelic individuals.
But you would. But 1 minute. Would it be an error to say the same? They're the same subject. Why are they separated?
Because if they're no. So if you have multiple angelic, let's say persons, right?
Yeah, I know. But why are they separated?
I'm explaining, right? So if you have multiple angelic persons that are made out of the same angelic particular individual thing, then by my account they would be counted as one angelic being. But if you have multiple, which is logically, but if you have multiple different angelic individuals, right, not forms but individuals, right, then they would be counted as multiple different angelic beings.
Why are they counted as multiple?
Even they would be counted as multiple because they're multiple different individual particular angelic beings.
Why are they counted as multiple? Why are they counted as multiple?
Oh yeah. So the way we're counting angels then would be like by individual things, right? So if
well, it doesn't matter if there's a discernibility in properties. Why are they different?
No, it's not merely properties, right? It's going to be like particular.
Yeah, even if you say no. Because saying they're different particulars is begging a question. I'm saying they're the same particular. Angel, 1 minute. The angel Gabriel and the angel Michael, they're all the same particular. I'm saying, what is the issue in saying this?
Yeah. So if that's the case, I mean, if that's really the ontology of angel Gabriel and the angel Michael, then under my view, they would be counted as one. But that's not what I believe. That's not. So
that is the point. Coptic. That is my point. You don't believe that is an internal inconsistency you're going to face because you're a restrictivist about composition. You're going to say angel Gabriel and angel Michael, they're two different subjects. Given this account, they cannot really be separated as particulars because any discernibility account you're going to give is just going to be reduced to, they satisfy the token. I mean, they satisfy the type anyways.
So I mean, let's use maybe a material object that can be easily conceptualized in our minds, right? So if you have like a piece of clay, right, and you form it into a statue, you would count the piece of clay and the statue as one material object.
But that is material
constitution. You can have multiple different pieces
that's material. I know, but that's material constitution. For the trinity, I want to touch on something. Yeah. For the trinity, there is no material constitutive account. That's the thing. That is the issue. So I know. My point is that's the point. Look, there is no constitutive account if a mere appeal is just made. It's just made with relation to token under type
But that's what.
relation.
But I thought you've already granted that for angels. So you're granting it for spiritual.
No, no,
and material
I'm saying that is only
man.
granted. No, 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 you didn't understand me. I'm saying that is only granted for angels if and only if they are bodies and forms that are composite. Those are two very different
by
things.
composite, you don't mean proper. You mean
No, I'm talking about proper parts.
But they're not. Forms are not proper parts, right?
One minute forms can 1 minute. Hold on, that's the thing. They're still bodies, and they have, for instance, there could be a metaphysical part P that's going to be a proper part of subsubject Q.
No, I don't. So yeah, so my
It
categorization.
is. Look. It is true. It is true. Look.
So I make
It is. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something. It is true that most people say immaterial objects cannot engage in composition, but that is a naturalistic assessment. So that appeal is going to make your case worse. I'm being charitable by. I'm being charitable. I'm being charitable by giving you a supernaturalistic assessment. But even then, that would be a metaphysical parthood priority.
Yeah, so that's not my categorization. So I wouldn't say that these are.
Then what is the
I would make a
categorization?
demarcation between hylomorphs and proper parts, right?
Yeah,
So
but the hylomorphs, that's what hylomorphs are. 1 minute, look. Presumably you would not say, what is it called? The wings of Gabriel, constitutes Gabriel the same way Jesus constitutes God. You wouldn't say that,
no,
correct?
I mean, no. So with the wings, I wouldn't say that this wouldn't be like a constitutive relation. It would be a composition relation, so that the wings would.
That is the
proper
point.
parts.
I'm saying.
But,
Look,
you're not making a distinction between material composition, material constitution, right? Or
no,
parts
I
and
am.
forms.
No. Look, material constitution is going to be some constituent property P that picks out a material aspect of the object.
Okay.
So that's the same thing here. If you pick out, if there's a constituent property P that picks out an aspect, that's still going to denote a part.
It have to be an aspect, right? Like, what if it's
Aspect just relates to something, a true set of the subject.
Yeah. So no. But what if you have like a constituent of the subject itself?
What, dude? That's not going to give an account.
Huh?
Yeah, that's not still, dude. You're not getting my point. That's not going to give an account because they're still under that. For instance, look, the constituents take whatever properties of in relation to whatever subject they're supposedly constituting. The constituent relation is not going to be in a formal sense. It's going to be in a material sense.
Yeah. But you're already granting that immaterial objects can have that relation. Like, for example, with Venus, he's not granting that.
Only
angels
no,
can
no,
even
no,
have
no.
That, right?
Look,
But
listen.
you're already granting that.
Look,
So-
Venus comes from a naturalistic assessment. I'm saying I'm being charitable and showing it doesn't even work under supernaturalistic assessment because you still haven't
Then
shown
you
me.
can't really object to the Trinity if you.
I do, because the Trinity, the appeal of the sameness, account of sameness of the Trinity under this account would be more probably than not given abduction is gibberish.
Yeah, I understand why. I mean, then with angels, it's going to be gibberish.
But that's the cost. That's the cost. Look. Imagine. Look. I've given you two routes. If you just appeal to a a constituent of type to token relation, and in a constituent sense, that's not going to give an account of sameness for the same reason why angel Gabriel and angel Michael could still be counted as the same object and the same subject. And you would obviously deny that given your restrictivist ontology. Now, that would be 1 minute. That would be even worse because that's not merely opaque. That's just an internal inconsistency. That's going to be a P not P. Now, I'm saying the other route you're going to take, which is saying God's type is going to be a material sortal and there's going to be a material compound. This relation is going to extend to like a property picking out what's true of the subject. First of all, you're not going to call the person's properties. That's number one. Number two, again, the account of sameness is still vague because all you're really saying is that there is such an instance that of a term satisfying that token. I mean, there is a token satisfying that type, but this is going to be in this is going to be in conjunction with material constitution. And if you want to say God is a body that has these persons prior to God in a ontological sense, in a material sense. So it's much more than a formal sense. A formal sense would say properties in relation to numbers. That's formal constitution. I'm talking about something more than that.
Yeah, so I think like the second way of you putting it is more like it, right? Where you have
Yeah, because the former is a
material
P and not P,
material
like I demonstrated.
Yeah, so if you have like a material thing where it can have multiple forms, so like the divine essence will play the role of matter, just like you said in the second thing, right?
So,
Now,
so I want you to strike yes if you agree. Like, is God in time?
yeah, so I take the view that God is atemporal, sans creation, but enters time with creation.
But that's still problematic because diachronicity, one moment, diachronicity is what accounts for the lump of clay to have differentia and yet still be counted as one.
Yeah, so that would
So,
be like this analogy, right? If you're saying like the lump of clay is is temporally prior, right, to the
yeah,
hylomorphism,
but
right?
what is it called? We gave
That's
an
going to be like
account.
this analogy, right? So,
Yeah, I know. I'm saying it's a disanalogy from your end. That's my point because
no, but that's not the point of that's not the. So you can have an analogy, or it can have.
I know, dude. Yeah, I know, but analogies could strike intelligibility. For instance, like you would disagree with me analogically predicating grass onto God and just say, oh, they both exist, right? That's a relevant similarity. No, that would be just gibberish. There is a certain threshold where other accounts could be given intuition or whatever, wherein like we can what is called satisfy this. So that's the account of intelligibility. So for
but I don't
instance,
think.
if diachronicity, I want diachronicity to extend to the fullness of object, not just sans creation. That's number one. Number two, what is it called? Would you say God is a configured body?
God, well, what do you mean by body?
What is it? Aristotelian form?
Yeah, so I mean,
That means he has an end. That you know how
like a
you know.
configured thing, like a configured.
Yeah. Like for instance, think of this. When the blueprints by architects.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they lay it out and then they build the building. But the lines that like constitute of the linear end of these objects and buildings and stuff, that's called the form in Aristotelianism. So would you say God has ends?
Yes, I think immaterial objects to have that. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say God?
I would say so.
Would you say God has an end?
As an end.
Yeah, that's what a form is. It necessarily means it has an end. Like there's an ending point. Like one side of God has this ending point, and this side of God has that ending point.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be like with limited material objects. But if you have like an unlimited immaterial object, that's
But at that point, it's not a form anymore because forms implicates definitionally what is called the analytic criteria of Aristotelianism demands the forms are all going to have ends. So either you're going to
that would be included in the definition I would be providing for form, right? So
but that's just opaqueness. That's because now you're using it in unconventional sense. Not only are you appealing.
Sure.
Dude, that is the what is called the problem is this opaqueness.
What do you mean, like by opaqueness? Do you mean unintelligibility or?
Yes, unintelligibility.
Sure. So then at this point, I can just say, well, it makes sense to me, but it doesn't make sense to
No.
me.
It doesn't. It doesn't strike out. For instance, look, if I say the proposition, put in a proposition, the Trinity is true.
Yeah.
Now, is that proposition true?
The Trinity is true. I would believe that it is true, right?
Yeah. Okay. Now, if I would ask you, if it is true, now you have the sense of opaqueness and relating what the term Trinity denotes. That means it's not truth apt.
No, but I can easily make the move of just saying that these are semantical primes, right? Or
But
like
semantical primes is just gonna introduce heavy inflation. For instance, imagine no, that is, dude, that's even worse than J.C. Beale's account. I'd rather be a dilatheist than introduce that because there would be no, what is it called? There would be no symmetry breaker between me saying that the proposition blah 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 is God is true, and I just say, and I just pick out blah 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 just to be a semantic prime.
No. So I wouldn't. No. So yeah, but that's going to be your interpretation of it, right? So if
no, but that's the thing. It's talk about inflation.
But it's not blah 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 to me, right? It makes sense. So
No, but that's the problem. That's the problem.
It's not gibberish to me, right?
No, dude. That's the issue. Given that you cannot give a symmetry breaker to a parity objection like that, it's gonna lower your priors to almost zero.
No, what parity objection?
The parity objection of blah 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 being true, and there's a.
But I'm saying it's not blah blah blah, right?
You're asserting it while you're not at what is called. We're not giving an intelligible account.
No, I could just provide.
And you even admitted. It was the unconventional usage.
No, but if I provide a definition, if someone doesn't understand the definition, then sure it would be unintelligible.
The
for them.
definitions,
I would make the
definitions,
argument
look,
it's not for me,
definitions relate to like normative definitions. What's called are linguistic conveyments, depending on some normative usage. In this instance, you said it's unconventional. You said at most you can appeal to it as semantic primes. You admitted the inflation aspect. So that's the account of priors being what is it called, lowered and lowered more.
Yeah, so I don't believe that. I don't believe that there's what do you call it? Like a denotation of a term that's like universally applied, right? So you can
What do you mean a
have
denotation of a term that's universally applied?
like a dictionary definition that
Dictionary definitions are colloquial. That's not my point at all.
Yeah, so I don't believe like in the colloquial sense that
No. When I say
terms where it
unconventional,
becomes
look.
universal, right?
Language itself is a convention. If you use something unconventionally, this is going to lower your priors as to something you cannot fit in conventionally. For instance, imagine if I just spouted gibberish and I said that is true. Now, this is going to lower the priors given an abductive assessment.
That can lower the. I don't care about like lowering the priors.
But that is the point. That dude. Look, imagine if I had argued against J.C. Beale. You're familiar with J.C. Beale's argument?
Yeah.
I mean, formulation of Trinity, right?
But the whole.
One moment. He says, look. He says it's true that Jesus is the Father, and it's true that Jesus is not the Father. Now, if he had come to me and says, Vienna, I know that it's contradictory given numeric identity, but I believe it's a true contradiction, and I'm a dilatheist. Now, this is the cost. That is the entire point. That the Trinity is only solvable if and only if you're a dilatheist. Now, that's the thing. What is it called? That's the thing with you. Now, you're going to say the Trinity is solvable if and only if in an unconventional usage of language and identity, and not giving not giving it a contrastive explanation, and an inflation with respect to ideological semantical primes, and just the other issues I picked out too, which is. One moment, and what is it called?
Because the point is the burden of you to show that there's a contradiction.
No, but that's the point. No, I don't believe. No, that's not what I believe. That's not what I believe. No. If you had followed me through my dialogues on TikTok, I'm charitable enough to say, yeah, I don't believe these Christian dogmas are always P and not P simpliciter.
Oh, okay.
But I do believe they're all costly, and prima facie, we can all presumably agree we can reject the Christian faith.
Yeah, but
on face value because of that.
Every Christian would like almost all Christians would grant that there's like.
Okay, listen, Coptic. If I got everybody that commits to these conventional usages and your like disengagement and so on and everything with the conventional usages and what is it called, and the opaqueness and the admission of like, it can't have a sense of opaqueness given the conventional usages, that just means that billions of people prima facie can reject the Christian faith just as much. This would be mirrored to somebody in an African tribe saying,
absolutely.
One moment. What is the symmetry breaker? What's the symmetry breaker if I created a religion today and it was filled with opaqueness and unconventional usages by just saying I'm personally justified?
There wouldn't be, right?
So one moment. That's what I want you to concede on. Okay, look. Is there a symmetry breaker between your faith in the Oriental Church and Vienna creating his own religion today, but it's opaque and unintelligible and it's unconventional? Is there a symmetry breaker?
Well, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, right? Because, well, first of all, I mean, if you're talking about conventionalism, right? Like maybe because for me, I can take like unconventional routes and claim it's intelligible for me, but you would say, well, under the conventional terms, it wouldn't be intelligible, right? Then I would grant you that, right? Like,
that's the point.
Because conventionalism would the way we're using terms applies mostly to material.
Because the opaqueness here is inflated because first of all, you appeal to a neo-Aristotelian view of relative identity proposed by Michael Ray. That's number one. Okay, so that's already unconventional off the bat. Not only that, there's a second order of unconventionality played in.
I don't care about convention. Like,
one moment. The second play of unconventionality was into play. You know what was that? Which is, you can have a form without ends. That's just gibberish to almost all Aristotelians. And even Thomas Aquinas says that that is impossible. So
sure. So I can make a concession to you, right? Here's the concession that you want me to hear. That you want to hear, right? Yes, you can develop your own philosophical theological system.
No, my
right?
own religion, and I claim I'm
Your own
God.
religion that has philosophy and theology, right?
No.
Your own
Woman,
religion.
if I created my own religion and I say the God of this religion is Vienna, and there are semantic primes and it's unconventional, would there be a symmetry breaker between
Then
that?
I would say it's impossible for me to prove that it's unintelligible or it's contradictory.
No, I'm saying, is
Yeah,
there
I
a
would say,
symmetry
yeah,
breaker?
it's
Is there a
logical.
symmetry breaker between my faith towards my religion and your faith towards
Symmetry breaker
your?
in terms of intelligibility or in terms of coherency or in terms of like.
If there's a coherency,
Oh, in terms, yeah. So I would say, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be able to prove that it's incoherent, so there's no symmetry breaker. Yeah.
So that's the point. That's the point. Look,
that,
dude,
yeah,
dude,
it would be impossible.
No,
for
no,
me
no,
to prove
dude,
it's
dude,
incoherent.
look. Yeah,
But you would also agree.
No,
How would
I
you prove
agree.
that
One
it's
moment. That is beautiful. You conceded to that. Okay, look, listen, because look, the probability of Vienna saying he is God in flesh and created his own religion, introducing all these inflated semantic primes, unconventional usages, and concerns and epistemic concerns and so on. This would lower the priors. For instance, imagine if I told you, yo, Coptic, what is the probability of winning the lottery?
1 in a million. I don't know.
Now, no, it would be 1 in a million. Okay, look, what is the probability of Vienna being God given Viennian religion?
Oh, so I mean, there wouldn't be any reason for me to believe in the Viennian religion.
No, I know, but what is the probability? Like,
I don't know how to assess that. Like,
but you would say, 1 minute, like, but it is more surprising for Vienna to win the lottery than Vienna's religion, made up religion, to be true, correct?
it would be more surprising for me to win the lottery than for your religion to be true.
Yes.
I mean, so you're saying that your religion has a higher probability of it being true?
No,
than
no,
your religion?
lower probability than
Oh, so it'd
people
be
winning
more
the lottery.
surprising that your religion is true than me winning the lottery. That's what
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you.
Obviously, it would, bro. Any normal human being. Libiano, are you here?
Like, what are you taking into account to assess that problem?
Yo.
Yeah, look, for instance, Libiano, if I had asked you, Libiano, what would be more true? If Vienna made a new religion today, I said he is God in that religion, would the truthfulness of that religion being true be more surprising than Vienna winning the lottery?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, and the probability of winning the lottery is like 1 in million, 1 in millions, okay? Now, given that, what is it called? We agreed that Vienna's religion of him claiming God to be true is
no
more
sense.
surprising
Yeah,
than winning the lottery, is winning the lottery. One moment.
Then your religion is more surprising. It being true would be more surprising than winning the lottery.
Yeah, that means it's more than 1 in millions, okay?
Yeah.
At the very minimum, it's within that range. That is the point about lowering the priors. If you're saying there, look, because Coptic, you said there's no symmetry breaker. One moment. You said there's no symmetry breaker between the whatever religion I'm going to make up and yours. Now I'm saying, given an abductive assessment of this, your faith in the Oriental Orthodox Church would be less probable than the lottery.
Yeah, so I think there's so many mistakes there, right? So with the reformulation, when you stated that to Orthodox Muslim, you've changed like a factor.
Not Orthodox Muslim, I'm saying a brand new religion.
No, I'm talking about the
Yeah, my bad.
You said like if you made up a religion, I know that you made it up, right? I thought you were talking about if we take like a religion X, let's say that's thousands of years old, right? That has a system of
No, made it up.
Yeah, but what if, okay, here's the thought analogy that I could provide you. What if we know of a religion that's thousands of years old that has...
But that's irrelevant. I'm talking about what I just made up.
What about, but I want to talk about, okay, so what if I modify the thought analogy to include that,
but
right?
forget the modification. I'm not talking about modification.
Yeah, so with you, of course.
Because I put it, no, 1 minute. I'm not sure if you want to retract that point, but I literally emphasize on today. I create the religion today, and you said there's no symmetry
If you
breaker.
create the religion today, the probability of it being true is very low.
Yeah, 1 moment. Look. Not only that, I'm saying in conjunction with both, what is it called? Unconventional usages, introduction of some inflation semantic primes. What is it called? Niche proposals, opaqueness, and so on and so forth.
But I
All
would
of
say,
this. One moment. I'm not done. All of this, in a big conjunction of a cumulative case, this would be less probable than winning the lottery. Now, you said there's no symmetry breaker between that and your faith in the what is called the Trinity.
Yeah, but no. You've made so many mistakes there, right? Like, so if we say that if you have the opaqueness, right, with the unconventional usages of the inflated semantic.
No, the opaqueness
right?
would be even more.
So
That's
we would
unconventional.
say so if that were the case for a thousands of years old religion, right?
No, I'm talking about
we don't know if
Vienna's
it's
made up
or
religion.
not.
I'm talking about Vienna's made up religion because the cases of opaqueness and unintelligibility and what is it called? And what is it called? Incoherency and so on would be used to counter the 1,000-year-old religion or whatever. The same way the mythology of Zeus.
Based on the theological doctrines of Christianity, that's not what I'm based. I can still conditionalize on other beliefs that I have about Christianity that can higher the probability of Christianity being true.
No, it would not.
That's not.
No, it would not. I'll tell you why it would not. I'll tell you. No. Think about it in a modus tonus, okay? If P, then Q. Not Q, therefore not P. That is the same thing happening. I'm using what's entailed from professing the Nicene Trinity, the Nicene Council.
Sure, but I'm not
to be a woman. I'm using that against it. You understand? For instance,
but that's
Egyptian. No, look. I'll clarify for you. Look, imagine if I made up my religion and I said Egyptian profess blah 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 is God. Now you're gonna take that prima facie at face value because it's gibberish. You're gonna discount me as like Messiah or whatever.
Gibberish in terms of the conventional, but not in terms.
No, gibberish was in conjunction of unconventionality and opaqueness.
Sure, but so
and inflation. Unconventionality, what's called opaqueness, and inflation.
Yeah, but first of all, I think like this would apply to all theistic systems. By the way, not only to
it does. No. Look. Listen. No.
Of course it does. Like
no. Look. So, I'll tell you why it wouldn't. Okay. Look. Under my conception of God, I apply numeric identity, which is i.e. referential sameness. That is the standard account, and that gives a constitutive account. Referential sameness is the constitutive account. Two terms, co-referential, and they satisfy an equivalency relation there. But
is there a distinction between the concepts of the terms?
Yeah, but dude, that's talking about whether or not synthetic.
That goes against Leibnizian identity.
It doesn't.
Leibnizian doesn't allow for conceptual distinction.
It does, dude. It does. You're not understanding Leibniz's identity theory, because you can have two terms being synthetically identical, meaning, for instance, look, even Kripke himself says, when I say water is identical to H2O and that's a necessary truth, that is a statement of identity in which is Leibniz's law. That's how we infer it being a necessary truth. Now, when Kripke says this, one moment. When Kripke says this, how does he infer it? Because they're co-referential. They denote the same thing. Now, that co-referential is obviously under referential sameness. But what Kripke also says is that H2O and water are not semantically reduced, but ontologically reduced. So you can have the equivalency of Leibniz's law with respect to ontological content, or with respect to what's called semantical content, or both, which is analytical identity.
Yeah, so I mean, okay, I can grant you that, but like...
Yeah, I'm saying that's something I don't have an issue on.
So Vienna, here's the deal, right? At the end of the day, when I enter into these discussions, I enter under the premise that the objector is claiming that there's a contradiction with the Trinity, but you're not making that claim. But that's all I care about, right? Whether this.
But dude, what would you care about more? I'm making the case that winning the lottery is more probable than the Oriental Church being true. Would you agree?
Okay, you can make that case also. Okay.
I'm making this case from an abductive assessment.
It's logically impossible.
One moment.
But would you make the claim it's logically impossible?
One moment. I'm making it from an abductive assessment. I'm saying, given abduction prima facie, winning the lottery is more probable than the Oriental Church. Do you agree?
But I'm not. But okay, you can. But I don't care about these probability assessments.
Bro, that is the cost. Look, listen, no.
But what I'm saying is,
listen. When I get into these Trinitarian discussions, all I want to prove that I have a warrant to throw away Christianity as a faith.
Of course you do.
One moment. I'm not done.
I would say, like,
I didn't say you're not granting. I know. You hold to PC. Of course, you're going to be permissive with warrants. I'm not saying this. I'm making a warrant. When I say warrant, I'm not talking about personal warrants. I'm saying warrant from an abductive perspective, meaning I could, for instance, and when I say I'm making an abductive assessment, I'm saying
I grant you that.
That's my point, dude. I'm saying the same way.
Make an abductive
One moment.
case
The same.
and
Hold on.
based on
I'm
the-
saying the same way we all agree that the Earth is round. Is the same way we all agree the lottery is more probable than the Oriental Church being true.
What? I don't understand the relevance.
Yeah, that is the
again, sorry.
abductive assessment, because abductive assessment is going to be more than just personal.
No, I don't understand the whole idea of the Earth being round when you said that. Like how? What
Oh my
are you
God!
trying to say?
Look, the inference to the best explanation. Given our seemings, we all agree that the Earth is round. Correct?
Well, no, that's not going to be based on like a. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're a scientist,
Seemings can be inclusive of sense data, bro. What are you talking about?
No, but if you assume scientific realism, it's like it's a scientific. fact
Even if you have,
that the Earth is
dude,
round, right?
look, listen. There are two people who are scientific anti-realists. Okay, there are the radical skeptic atheists, which you don't want to go that route, and there are the theists that are like young Earth creationists. I'm saying disregard both. Okay, I'm saying obviously you're not a radical skeptic atheist, and you're smart enough not to be a young Earth creationist or from that camp. I'm saying. We agree that the Earth is round given abductive assessments, okay? Abductive assessments is going to gloss over more than just personal assessments.
I mean,
You
the
agree?
scientific theories work based on abductive assessments.
What?
I mean, scientific facts. I'm not really sure. Like, is scientific facts? It's not based on abduction.
It is
right?
based on abduction.
It is okay. Then, halas, then.
That is my point.
It's based like
That is my
best
point.
inference from-
I'm saying I'm fleshing out an abductive assessment where I make the case. It's not merely Vienna's.
Of course, I can grant you that.
Dude,
Yeah, you can make
Egyptian,
like an
Egyptian. I'm not
abductive
done. I'm not doing interrupt. Look, listen. I'm fleshing out this abductive case wherein it's not merely Vienna's personal justification. I'm making a bigger claim where I say, given the relevant data, and this is not just merely a seemings qua Vienna seemings. I'm talking about explaining the relevant data. Given the relevant data, we can infer to the best explanation that, that winning the lottery is more probable than the Oriental Church being true.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, that's the point.
Yeah, but that's not. So when I came to discuss this, I didn't come under the premise that we're going to.
But by the way, you know what that means?
Or an abductive case against the Trinity. I was like coming.
But Coptic, you know where?
You know what that sounds like? It sounds like you disagreed. You're probably going to hell.
Yeah, like listen, no.
By the way,
Coptic.
I actually would agree that if
Look, Coptic, I want to tell you something.
One second. If we had the Trinity only to go by for Christianity, then yeah, the probability of Christianity being true is going to be very, very, very low.
No, I'm saying I'm making a case against the Christian faith, and even if it was against the Trinity, by the way, even if it was against the Trinity, this could be. I'm not done. I'm saying this could be assessed in a modus tonus. For instance, if P then Q, not Q, therefore not P. I'm saying because the Nicene Creed professes the Trinity, and the Trinity carries this jargon, the entailment here, we can reject it, and thus we can reject what professed it.
Absolutely. But
So that is my point. Dude, listen, look. First of all, I want to make something clear. Look, Coptic. I want to make something clear. I want to make something clear.
But one second. But I can still raise. Every time I talk, okay, go ahead.
Go on.
Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah. So I'm saying. Even,
Yeah.
I can grant you that. I can grant you that if we do like a Bayesian conditional probability, right, where you can say like, given the Trinity, the probability of Christianity being true is going to be very low, based on the opaqueness and all of that stuff we just said, right? But then I can hire that Bayesian conditional probability for Christianity by conditionalizing on other beliefs that I don't have.
But you can't.
No, I can't. Like for example, based on like the resurrection of Christ, based on like
no, you can't because that could be rejected. Listen. You obviously agree.
Yeah, but for me it wouldn't, right?
No. Even for you. One moment. Look, I'm saying even for you because you agree modus tonus is valid, correct?
Of course, it's a rule of inference.
Now, if Christianity, then Trinity, not Trinity, therefore not Christianity. That's what I'm running.
But I wouldn't say not Trinity, right? Like why?
Huh?
Yeah. But if I have a defeater for the belief in the Trinity, but I'm saying I wouldn't have a defeater.
No, dude.
even
I'm
if I
saying the warrant
that
here
the
for not.
condition lies on the
Look. The warrant here for not Trinity would be, what is it called? If it's loaded, meaning what is it called? If it's loaded in that sense, now what is it called? Prima facie, we can say not Trinity, given the opaqueness and everything assessments, given some, what is it called? Given some what is it called? Just some givens. Now we can assess that the Trinity is false, therefore the Christianity is false. The same inference of abduction I made.
So in epistemology, I think what you're trying to say is that you would have a defeater for the belief in the Trinity of the probability of it being true.
Yeah. Yes, and this is going to be.
But what I'm saying, you can conditionalize on other beliefs that can.
You can't. Even the resurrection of Christ. Look, even the resurrection of Christ. There could be a lot of testimonies, but that could be countered because they testified something opaque and inflated.
No, but then you're going to be arguing for.
Point.
Then we're changing now the argument because now you're going to say like, well, I'm saying, what if I find the argument compelling and I conditionalize on that? Then the probability of Christianity being true is going to be very high. Now, if you want to argue,
that's not going to. Well, that's not going to try.
Now we're changing topics, right? Now we keep on switching topics, right?
I know, but dude, because you switch the topics. I'm saying that is still not. Look, even theoretically, that's not going to be plausible because again, given the modus tollens I just presented, if Christianity.
But I wouldn't say not Trinity. I wouldn't agree with the modus tollens that you presented.
So 1 minute. If Christianity is true, does that 1 minute? If Christianity is true, does that entail that Trinity is true?
No. Yeah. But
okay, that's the point. Listen.
No. But
if Christianity, then Trinity, not Trinity, therefore not Christianity.
But I'm saying you wouldn't have a defeater for the Trinity necessarily, because even if
I do.
If prima facie you have a defeater, you can still have a defeater deflector, right? Or defeater.
What is a defeater deflector?
Yeah, so if you conditionalize on other beliefs, the defeater you had for the Trinity would be deflected based on the.
I'm saying, dude, look. So let's assess your options, okay? And appeal to miracles, and appeal to what is it called? What other appeal could be made such that
like maybe spiritual experiences, maybe I don't know, like.
But spiritual experiences are private seemings.
Yeah, but these can
private,
these can also
dude. That's the point. Look. You're not understanding. Private seemings.
These are going to be beliefs.
No. I'm not done. Even Michael Humer says this. Okay, look. Private seemings are epistemically private. They can't be used to infer an abduction. That is the point.
I'm being like a private, but that's not going to be like a private.
Look, listen. Coptic. I'm not. 1 moment. Look, there's two. I want to make something clear. I'm not making the point that your warrant is going to be disqualified or whatever. No, that is not. I mean, that's like a can of worms. I believe I could infer that, but that's like another thing.
Oh, but that's not the argument you're making, right?
One more. That's not the argument I'm making. What I'm making.
But I don't care.
Dude. No. Because the argument I'm making is that what is it called? Given an abductive assessment, I'm making a global claim, not a local claim. I'm making a global claim that the lottery is more probable than Christianity, given the modus ponens I just posited.
But I don't think
modus ponens,
even Andrew Moon, who's like one of the most prominent epistemologists, when he's talking about the area of warrant and rationality and justification, says that this is always going to be subjective, right? It's based on what you've been exposed.
But this is going to be that is his opinion. Again, look.
I mean,
you appeal to this.
It's not going to be like a global, huh?
No. Look again. That's going to be look. When within epistemology, some people like disagree. Oh, is this like an abductive assessment? Is a global? Like everybody agrees this is going to be global, but they disagree if this is going to be like some sense of. They disagree on how it's going to be treated. Some people go a more relativistic stance. Some people go a more objectivist stance. And some
yes,
other
I think
stuff.
like a relativist.
So one moment. I'm not done. Look, now the relativists they would even agree with what I'm saying because, look, when I say for instance, what is it called? When I say for instance. Messi is better than Ronaldo, and I appeal to a relative metric. That relative metric is subject dependent, not stance dependent, but subject dependent, and that's still going to validate these abductive assessments. Now, that's the same thing I'm applying here. Now, I'm saying, given relevant metric P, even if I'm going to I'm granting relativity. By the way, once you did, by the way, you're disregarding a lot of things. I'm being really charitable. I granted Because you know, with Venus, he's not going to grant you supernaturalistic experiences and everything.
Yeah, but I don't care what he grants or not.
Look, I'm being charitable by granting even more to show how it's false. So what I'm doing is that I'm granting. So what is it called? I'm granting relativity. I'm granting the Aristotelian. I'm granting all of this, but even under relativity, there's going to be some there's going to be some metric P where it's going to determine these abductive assessments to make the conclusion that the lottery is more probable than the Oriental Church being true.
I don't know, because like if I conditionalize on like private beliefs that I have,
But these are not gonna
like a private epistemic assessment.
Look, listen. Private
So
beliefs are
even if I grant you that there can't.
yeah, but private beliefs are epistemically private.
Yeah, so if I'm talking about like private
Epistemically private, one minute, epistemically private one
my
minute.
own epistemic situation of my.
Look,
if I'm talking about my own
I know,
epistemic
but look,
situation,
epistemically private points cannot be inferred within abductive assessments.
Halas, then you're granting me that I can privately speaking, I can be like epistemically warranted for my belief.
Dude, look, Coptic, you're not getting it. Listen, look. Imagine.
I thought you also granted that, right? You said like.
I know, but you're not granted. The thing is, look, I'm not sure if you have no issue with this problem, but you, what is it called, or you're not, what is it called, you're not getting it, because from a globalist perspective, P, what is it called? P, which is the lottery, is 1 in a million. Q, which is Coptic's faith in Christianity being true, which is even more unlikely to that. Therefore, we can, prima facie, we can assume that Christianity is false. Not only this, one moment. Not only that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not done. Not only that, this would translate to counterintuitive propositions that given abduction, given your abduction, your religion is, what is it called? 1 in a million, whatever chance of being true. Given abduction, your religion is less likely than, what is it called? Asteroids hitting the Earth. You're given abduction, your faith is so on and so forth. Given abduction, your faith is gonna be really improbable to the point it's not even taken to be seriously. You can even infer. What's even funny is that you can even infer Harry Potter being real more than your faith at that point.
Okay, you're finished?
I'm done.
Can I speak without interruption?
Yeah.
Sure. So I can grant your prima facie. You can have a defeater. I mean, so okay. Let me ask you this. So are you making, so the argument that you're presenting, is it supposed to be an argument that you're presenting?